What up? I just got done with a deadlift workout, but I recently competed in my first powerlifting meet, and I wanted to jump on and review some of the footage and go over how it went. A little bit of background: I signed up for this meet around September, October, something like that, and it took place recently in mid-January. Pretty soon after I registered for the meet, finals started to get a little bit crazy and work started to get crazy as well. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to work out for about 6 weeks in November and the beginning of December. I was able to get back in the gym leading up to the holidays, but obviously the holidays happened, and while my calorie intake was pretty good during that time, I did not do a good job of keeping up with my training for that week and a half. So that gave me just a couple of weeks at the beginning of January to try to make as much progress as possible and get ready for the meet. But enough of the excuses aside, let's just jump in and look at my lifts. So if you're not aware, the format of a powerlifting meet is first you squat, then you bench press, and then you deadlift. And your total is your best lift from each of those categories. You get 3 attempts for each, and we're going to start off looking at my first squat attempt. It was 110 kilograms, or just over 240 pounds, and this was pretty easy. I at least wanted to make sure I got at least one clean lift for each category, so I would wind up with a total at the end of the meet. So let's take a look. I was pretty confident at this weight, even though I was definitely not at my strongest. And you can see here, pretty much no struggle there. Got to shout out the spotters. They were really awesome, and they moved pretty quick. Next up, moving up to 120 kilograms, 264 and a half pounds. I had squatted 260 in the weeks leading up to the meet, so I wasn't really concerned about it. And you can see not too much struggle there, a little bit slower. And then I moved up to 130 kilograms, which I think is around 286.6 pounds. And I actually hadn't squatted this heavy since kind of lapsing my training in November and December. So I was a little bit nervous about it, but just went for it, and it was actually a little bit easier than I expected it to be. And got 3 white lights, so that was a good lift, 286 pounds. And moving on to the bench press, I started out at 85 kilograms. This wasn't too much of a struggle. I was actually a little bit worried about hitting the safety bar on the right. That was the only concern. Then I moved up to 90 kilograms, which is just under 200 pounds. And you can see here, this was my main issue, was a little bit of a muscle imbalance on the right side. So my left side is definitely considerably stronger than my right. And that's going to be something I'm hoping to address in future training. But regardless, slow and steady, I evened it out, and they counted that rep. So I was able to bag 90 kilograms, and that was a struggle. So I only went up to 92 and a half kilos, but I didn't really expect to make that happen given how 90 went. But moving on to the deadlift, I started at 125 kilograms, or 275 and a half pounds. I had done this weight in the lead up to the meet, so I wasn't very concerned and moved pretty quickly. It was kind of tricky setting my weights in kilograms. I hadn't ever really thought about it like that before, but I moved up to 145 kilograms, about 320 pounds. I actually hadn't lifted this heavy yet leading up to the meet, but it went pretty well. And I wasn't sure how much I wanted to push it for my last attempt on deadlifts. But I wound up going up to, what was it? 155 kilograms, so almost 342 pounds. I wasn't sure how strong I was going to feel, but just got set up for it. and turns out that I probably actually had a couple more kilos in the tank. A little bit of a leg shake there, but nothing too concerning. So that was my powerlifting meet. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how I performed. I feel like on my squat and on my deadlift, I probably had a little bit more in the tank, but just with the brief amount of training I had leading up to the meet, I wasn't sure how much I could push it. It would have been nice to get closer to failure on those final attempts. But overall, my main concern was really just dealing with all the commands, especially for squat and bench press. And fortunately, I did not fail any lifts because I wasn't following the commands correctly. So that's the good news. I accomplished what I wanted to. I competed in the meet. I understood the commands and performed the lifts correctly. And I wound up with a total of 375 kilograms. I was hoping for closer to 500, but that was back when I was lifting 3-4 times a week regularly, hitting PRs every other week, stuff like that. So I'm really just looking at this meet as a starting point and looking forward to crushing that total of 375 kilos in my next meet. So talking about goals for 2025. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another meet this year. I know there are a couple in the fall that look like they could be kind of fun, but they're out of town. I definitely want to do this meet again if they put it on next January. But I do just have some PR goals in terms of weights for the 3 lifts. I would really like to deadlift 495 this year. I would also really like to squat 405 this year. Those two I feel pretty confident I can do if I stay on top of my training and do a better job of balancing school and work and training all at the same time. Kind of my reach goal for this year is to accomplish a 315-pound bench press with the pause that will happen in a competition setting. I think my bench press is my weakest lift at the moment, especially with the muscle imbalance between my left and right side. So I think that's going to take some pretty dedicated effort to accomplish, but we'll see. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to keep on eating right and train as much as I can, and hopefully I'll be able to hit 315 on the bench. I don't know if long form videos are going to be a regular occurrence on this channel. I'll probably do one after each meet I compete in, but otherwise, I think I'll probably just stick with the short form, workout summaries like the previous videos on this channel. Maybe I'll do an update every couple of months just to see how I'm going towards my goals. But we'll just see. Let me know if you like this kind of longer breakdown of how the meet went, how things are going, and I can work that in. Also, I did do a couple of workouts that I recorded, but I haven't put together those short form videos for. So I'm going to try to get more consistent in editing those together and posting them, not let them stack up. I think I have, maybe 6 or 7 workouts that I haven't posted. But yeah, if you want to see more workout stuff like this, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See you next time.